Welcome back, beautiful bastards. The name is Wolf, and this is day 1 of my Ancestral Commander in the Legend of Phrecia event that's currently going on. It is going to be a General's Cry build with Earthshatter, possibly Tectonic Slam, depending on how things are going to pan out. But this is kind of a recreation so far of a build I did about 2 or 3 years ago as an alternative to my very successful Paradoxica Blade Flurry General's Cry build, which is a phenomenal and very well-known boss killer archetype, but it really struggles on maps. It doesn't feel very good. So I tried making it into an Earthshatter, even Earthquake, Sunder kind of build, which worked alright, but it didn't feel phenomenal. But a lot has changed in the last 2 or 3 years, as well as with this event, a lot of things are different. So hopefully with this together, we can probably make a phenomenal build that is incredibly tanky because it's already unkillable, which is insane for the record. In addition to hopefully making it very fast, it does have built-in phasing if we do end up going with Cyclone. I'm not really a big Cyclone fan. My hand always starts hurting after a while. While also on top of that having a phenomenal damage ceiling. It has a lot of options for quality of life if you're willing to sacrifice certain stuff, but we'll talk about that during the gem section, because right now I'm working on no gear. It has been a phenomenal experience to just kind of move through the campaign with a relative ease using the mostly the Alkaizer melee leveling strat. I did switch to a very early auto exertion General's Cry, which has been very good. As you can see, it does phenomenal damage. The only thing I purchased was a 1C axe. I'll show you guys what that is. It's a very powerful axe. It gives you culling strike, a lot of damage scaling, very good. And it might even bring me to early red maps, although I don't expect it to be the case. But yes, let's talk a little bit about what's going on and what I'm planning. And here is the Autumn Wolf, level 68. Wolves may cry. Almost nice. Almost. As you can see, we are res capped. We have all of our passive points. Very lovely. We did opt for the deal with Alira, because the way the bandage were changed in the past allows the Alira trade to be 15 all res for 1 point as opposed to 2 points, and that's definitely worth it, especially early game. We may switch this out for a skill point later and lose that 15 all res if we have the gear for it, but we'll see how that goes as we move through maps, because I'd rather be safe and overcapped than undercapped as we start mapping, right? However, in terms of gearing, there's not much to say. It's mostly just life and resistance gear, with the exception of the unique axe. This is a phenomenal axe you can pick up for 1C. At least it was 1C when I picked it up. It's probably cheaper now. The accuracy rating is very useless because we are using Resolute Strike, but the culling strike is phenomenal. The extra rage is just comfy for ramp, but more importantly, the extra physical damage is extra fire damage with its high base fizz damage too. It's just a phenomenal tool for early leveling. I suspect this is going to carry me through white maps, maybe even yellow maps. Red maps might be a little ambitious, but we'll see how it turns out. Other than that, as I was saying, we do have only life and res everywhere. It's nothing really worth writing home about. We do have a 5 link, which was very nice, but other than that, we have Desecrate level 1, which is simply to generate corpses in places where we're not getting any kills, because the mirages, the General Cry's mirages do need corpses to spawn from. We have Pride, because we're mostly doing fizz damage. We will be doing conversion later. I'm thinking either cold or fire, depending on if I want to go Tectonic Slam or not. Otherwise, I might be looking at a cold conversion for Shatter and such, which has been very good in the past. But we'll see. For now, though, Pride's been very lovely. Frostblink, because it's an instant cast. And I'm a big fan of Frostblink, and since I might be picking up Cyclone, Frostblinking can be done while Cycloning, which is very lovely too. Very common tech during the Berserk Blade Flurry bossing days. Blood and Sand is just more damage, especially since we're still using the axe. War Banner, which is basically a totem that can't die these days. Just a lovely more multiplier against tanky rares or bosses. It's been quite lovely. You don't have to run this, but you can. I have just got it pressed on Q. We have the 5 link of General's Cry. I have decided to 5 link General's Cry before my my right click right here, because it's just better for single target damage, I think. We have auto exertion, so we don't have to worry about General's Cry going off. It just does it by itself. Back in the day, we had the left click, in the snow and back. We have earthshatter right now, which also allows us, ironically, to go past the maximum of 15 spikes, because normally you can only get up to 15 spikes, but since every mirage is a separate instance, they all generate their own spikes. Now, they only attack once, but we have 5 mirages. That's 5 times 5, which is 25. So we have 25 potential spikes as opposed to the maximum of 15, which is a little nice burst damage for bosses and single target. Very, very lovely. Pulverize support for more damage. It does come with some less attack speed, but that's okay. As long as you make sure that your mirages can attack before they get resummoned by a General's Cry, you have enough attack speed. Don't worry about it. Other than that, we have endurance charge on melee stun support. Now, they don't generate their own endurance charges, but they do benefit if we have them because they're basically cloning us, right? And we are generating them through our boots right here with Fist of War, Earthshatter ourselves, and endurance charge on melee stun. We are currently able to generate up to 7. So that's a nice 7 times 4 that the mirages benefit from, as well as ourselves, plus all the defensive benefits, which are insane. We also have close combat, but yeah, this is probably going to switch if I want to get the benefit of having phasing or pseudo-phasing through Cyclone while you're channeling, right? So we might look into that. Otherwise, if I can get decent movement, I might just stick with Earthshatter. It's very, very good if you can get up to the 25 Earth Spikes here and then all your 15 your own. That's a lot of Earth Spikes, right? That's 40 Earth Spikes that can do a lot of damage. I already talked about the Blood Sand, War Banner and such. We do have some Leap Slam with faster attack in an attempt to make travel a little bit more manageable. It's still quite slow, sadly, at this stage, but hopefully we can ramp that up in the future. But that's kind of it for it. The gems, the flasks are kind of bad as well. I need to fix those. That's going to be on the list very, very early. The interesting thing, of course, is the leveling tree and the ascendancy. Now, this is mostly based on Alkaizers leveling because he's the melee god in PoE, right? So if he does it, it must be worth it. On top of that, we are an Ancestral Commander, as I stated early. I did opt for Call of the Ancestors as my very first one. I, however, respect Call of the Ancestors after I got Deep Breaths by going the long way around, as well as the minimum of power Warcry Mastery. As long as you don't have too much Warcry recovery cooldown, you should be fine. You have to keep an eye on your mirages and see if they can attack. If they are not attacking because they get replaced too fast, you've got too much Warcry cooldown recovery, or you don't have enough attack speed. Now, Call of the Ancestors is pretty much already capping out your cooldown recovery rate that you would ever need. So if you have this, don't pick up Deep Breaths, but if you have Deep Breaths, you can drop this and pick up something as amazing as Ancestral Endurance, as well as Ancestral Defiance, which is going to make you do more damage, have more resistances, and become basically immortal against hits, because this is a light version of that neck piece, right? This is why I just don't die anymore in the campaign, which is incredibly comfy. On top of that, I opted for Toughened Skin. Most people will recommend Born Under Fire, which is very, very good. Fizz mitigation is very solid, especially since we have no evasion. And I don't want evasion because I might pick up Unwavering Stance if stunning becomes too much of a problem. But yeah, the Toughened Skin is just very, very comfy because it doesn't allow you to have to worry about getting slowed down too much. As most of you know, I am a bit of a Trickster fanboy, and they have a very powerful note that essentially makes you immune to like action speed slows, which is so very good. But yeah, other than that, Toughened Skin, just very good value for resistances. There are other arguments to be made in case of Ancestral Spirit, but I haven't really seen anything here that's really like juicy enough to justify it, if I'm being honest. So it's probably going to be what you see right here: Ancestral Defiance, Toughened Skin, and then probably Born Under Fire. I think that's what most people are going to run. I might be wrong. Who knows? But that's what I suspect. And that's what I will be running first and foremost. But yes, we do have Deep Breaths the long way around for some cooldown recovery rate with the power, which is very, very nice, because back in the day we had to use it with the clusters, but now we have it as a mastery, which allows us to benefit from things like Rage Mastery. So we never run out of rage. Once we're ramped up, as long as we have that automated Warcry going, we'll never run out of rage, which is very, very good. Very comfy. Resolute technique, so we don't have to worry about Accuracy, we will hopefully get a crafted weapon later in the game, so we can unspec this and maybe go crit. That is ultimately the plan. There's a lot of damage in there. We picked up some barbarism, some more damage, just a basic quick path to resolute technique early, and then expanding upon that with some value nodes, versatility, Heart of the Warrior, Warrior's Blood, all res with diamond skin is very good. I picked up some endurance charges already because we started using the endurance charge support gems. Other than that, it's just a lot of life. I did also make a beeline for Vitality Void with instant leech, because this first node, which is a very popular node, a lot of duelist players know this, because it gives you double leech. Since there's not a lot of on-hit support here, that's more around the ranger side of things in terms of sustaining mana and life. So this life and mana leech with instant leech kind of mimics that, and it's very, very good. It allowed me to drop multiple life and mana flasks as I was going through the campaign. Some more life, we're picking up some more damage here. This is very important. Steadfast, which gives us maximum fortification increases, as well as duration increases for comfy. You can also go for more fortification if you want to. I prefer the duration, just to help with dead zones during the maps without having to worry about having to re-amp too fast. But more importantly, the Fortify Mastery allows us to make every melee hit we do fortify, which is very important because we don't have spell suppress on the left side of the tree, so getting spell suppress capped is not going to happen. At least not for me. Maybe there's a way to do it with like jewels and such, but I'm just going to stick with fortify, picking up a lot of value life here, 6%, 10%. Increases to all reses, very, very good. We did opt for Cannibalistic Rite to pick up the increased mana reservation because we are running multiple auras, including a big one for Pride, which might switch in the late game as we might convert to Cold, if not Fire, depending on which skills we're going to run. We'll see how that turns out. Picked up some more life here as well, some more endurance charges. We're currently using an axe, and with Axe Mastery, we can use more damage in blood stance, which is very, very comfy. Also more rage, although that is not much. That's no longer really that important because of our current unique axe, but also because of battle trance, because these small nodes right here give us rage on hit as well. A little bit of intimidation, very, very good. But yes, ultimately, I think the idea that most people have right now, looking at Tuna, looking at Jungroan, looking at some other people, looking at my own previous POBs from like 2-3 years ago, it does look like skull cracking and bone breaking might be best. I'm not sure if I want to go through the minor nodes here with stun duration or simply stun threshold, considering we have to stun to generate endurance charges. So I might just go around. But ultimately, we do want to have a mace or a scepter because of the shockwave support, which requires a mace or a scepter, right? And that allows us to do some very good clear with Cyclone or any other attack we might amp up on that, while we are also having the benefit of General's Cry in addition. That's kind of the fundamental build idea. But yes, only if you use Cyclone. And I'm not sure if I will be using Cyclone because, like I said, it does hurt my hand after a long while. Or maybe it's just time to maybe do some different key bindings. I don't know. But yeah, like I said, it's just right now it's Alkaizer leveling, some different ascendancy than most people have taken. Life, resistances on gear, pick up the 1C axe. Don't forget the weapon increased physical damage craft recipe as well, which is a single whetstone, a magic or rare sash, and then the weapon you want to slap the increased physical damage on, you trade it to a vendor. It should give you a different weapon back, or the same weapon back, but with the increased physical damage. Very good for leveling. Mandatory for weapon leveling, really. And that's kind of my day one. I'm about to pop into some maps, and hopefully, yeah, it will be a good experience. If you want to follow along, I don't currently have a POB, because I'm kind of messing around. I'm not fully on board with Jungroan's insane APM piano kind of aesthetic, because I want to use the least amount of buttons possible. And there's a couple of things that I don't really vibe with on Tuna's POB, but I think it's an outdated one because he's using accuracy on gems while having hits can't be evaded. So it's probably just a mess because everybody's kind of scrambling since everything got scrambled with the ascendancy. So if you want to follow along in real time, you can find me on PoE Ninja. under Wolves May Cry with the streamer section, so you can find me there. Otherwise, pop in on my stream if I am live, and you can ask me questions or just join the Discord. Links below. Thank you so much for hanging out and listen to me ramble. I will see you guys tomorrow, or hopefully the day after. I'm a little under the weather, so I will work on that too. Yes, thank you so much for watching. Hit the like button. I'll see you guys next time. I'm out.